Hey, good evening, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you're connecting from. I'm excited to be on this show, Making a Difference Every Day, Making a Difference Every Day with Sandra Oko. I have a great guest with me. His name is Oladipupo Clement. But before I bring him on board, I'd like to just introduce my humble self. My name is Sandra Oko. I'm a leadership coach, speaker, and trainer, a member of the Toastmaster as the Vice President Public Relations, and also an area director. I'm also a best-selling author. Just recently got gifted the Presidential Lifetime Award. And today we have a guest. And before we bring the guest on, I want to just explain what the show is all about. Making a difference every day. We are called out to make a difference in our world. God has been putting each and every one of us giftings, talents that we can use to represent Him. And we're here to, impact ourselves, our family, and the entire community, the entire world. If you've got a gift in you and you're not using it, then you might want to ask yourself, why are you here? There's a reason why we're on this side of the planet, and we're here to do all we need to do and die empty, making sure that we use all our skills and talents, finding out what is left to be used to be a blessing to the world at large. And I have a guest with me. I want to welcome Oladipupo Clement. The floor is all yours to introduce yourself. Tell us about yourself before we go into our questions and finding out how you're making a difference in your world. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. My name is Oladipupo Clement. I'm a real estate and business coach. I'm very passionate about seeing people create wealth. And for me, that's what my life is about. I believe that my calling is to damage poverty. And I'm having a run with this assignment. It's what I'm not just going to live for, it's what I'm ready, I'm prepared to die for. And that's anybody who has known me for upward of 20 years will testify that that's exactly what has been most consistent in my life. And it's such a joy to be on this platform. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for making our time out of your busy schedule. Because the last time we were meant to have this video, you were not in the country. And I was like, oh my God, when is this guy going to come back? And and just recently, okay, let me check him out again, whether he's available for this video. So I'm glad to have you here out of your busy schedule, making our time to be a blessing to our world. Yeah, I'd like to find out how it was life for you, telling us your story. How did it all start? Were you born with a silver spoon, bed of roses, everything working out for you? Because when you see people doing a real estate, it's like, oh my God, this guy is in money. So let's hear from you.
Well, I really would have loved to have been born with silver spoon. But unfortunately, I wasn't born with any spoon at all.
Oh my God.
So I was born into an average family. My mother and father were both sole proprietors, and we were neither rich nor poor, but I had more memories of poverty and hardship. And like we used to say back in Nigeria, I could count how many times I ate Christmas chicken. Christmas chicken is Christmas chicken, right? So I could count how many times. And one moment we are in plenty, in another couple of years, over maybe 5 or 7 years, we're in lack and hardship. In fact, I recall very, very vividly the time we were having like a welfare outreach in my church in Nigeria. And I was part of the committee that was putting the program together. And while we're analyzing how much, container of rice, container of gari, 2 bags of yam we're going to, distribute, one of the committee members shared how that we should consider giving 2 kilograms of rice. And I said, what would that do to a whole family? And she said, you have no idea what sort of miracle that would be to a family. Then immediately it occurred to me that there was a point in my family where someone actually, a family, not even the family, it was actually their house help that gave us 2 derrickas of 2 kilograms of rice, and that happened like maybe twice or thrice that particular year, to tell you how, things were really bad, how bad things were at the time in our lives. I can go on and on. I know the color. That's why I say to people, I know the color of poverty. I know how it tastes. Don't ask me what is the color. Don't ask me what it tastes. And so from that moment, I knew, somehow I just know that life could be easier, life could be better. There's something that some people know that makes their life a lot better than ours. There's no point, being in and out of resources. It's possible to have it more consistently and predictably too. So that backed my hunger and yearning. So I was constantly looking for, fate had it that I ran into a program, where my mentor, my very revered mentor today, was the speaker, and he was just speaking on developing a reading culture. This was year 2000. It was February 20, 2000. That was the remarkable date I can never forget in my entire life. And I told myself, even if I don't have an idea where I'm going and how to get there, if I hold on to this trouser, the trouser of this man, I know I'll find my bearing. And that was what marked the turning point. Of course, the story didn't change immediately. It didn't change outwardly immediately. It took a couple of years, but the transformation was inside, right? And that's why I always say to people that wealth is not created outside in, it's created inside out.
True.
And for me, the transformation was instant, the transformation was progressive. And of course, the transformation today is now visible. People now want to know, okay, how did you do it? Like my mentor would typically say, nobody investigates the source of your poverty, but people will investigate the source of your wealth. But it is your own responsibility to investigate the source of your own poverty and figure out a way out. And that's pretty much been my journey. But I'm grateful to God for how far He has brought us. The journey is still very, very far. We are still scratching the surface, in my opinion. And I say it all the time that one thing that you don't want to ever get infected with is the arrival syndrome. You don't want to ever get to a point where you think you have now finally arrived. And we're still on the journey, and we're still making the sacrifices necessary.
Yeah. The moment you even think you've arrived, that's the moment you begin to die.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So life is, a continuum. It's
Absolutely.
a continuous as long as Christ tarries.
Absolutely.
That's a great one. I like to know your mentor. You spoke about holding your mentors.
Okay.
You just mentioned mentor. So which mentor, so that we can start looking out for him?
I've got quite a number of mentors for different things. But when I mention my mentor, those who have been following me, those who know me, know I'm referring to Dr. Lumide Emmanuel.
Awesome.
I always like to tell people, and I say this with every sense of humility, I am eternally grateful for ever getting connected to him. His investments, his sacrifices in my personal life, my family, and everything, and even the business, even our companies, all the things that we do, there's practically nothing I want to set up or want to launch. I don't bounce it with him and say, sir, this is what I'm trying to do now. And he's a huge supporter to my dreams and my visions.
Awesome.
Everything I've ever done, the first set of books I wrote, the businesses I've started, the ones that have succeeded, the ones that have failed, it was a major force, and it's been a major force even in my family. I recall one day my wife sent a message to him. This was several years ago, and said, thank you for the gift of your mentee. That's to say, oh, I'm glad that I'm married to this guy. There are people who get married because of somebody they are associated with, but they have different crop, they have a different attitude, they have different character. And that for me was very humbling. When my wife told me, she sent a message to Pastor. Dr. Lumide Emmanuel is also a pastor. So that for me, interestingly, it's also my pastor. Dr. Lumide Emmanuel is also my pastor. So he plays multiple roles. He occupies many.
Well, before he became your pastor, was it your
Yes.
pastor before you met him?
Okay, that incident where I said I walked into a program, it was a church program. It was actually a church service, right? I reluctantly went into that church, and but I eventually sat down because what he was saying was making a lot of sense. And I just wanted to listen more to him. And that was how the journey. So it started first as a pastor, and then, and then on and on. So it's not just a
So that
pastor
means
to me.
after stumbling into that church, you kept on
Yes.
going to the church because what he said was like something you needed.
Absolutely. Yes.
Awesome. I thought you had to go look for him, find out the church he was pastoring so that you can join the church.
I was fortunate to
Oh my
have met
God.
him, in that manner. When people look at me today and say, oh, how did you meet him? How did you find him? And all of those things. I mean, I know what price people have to pay now to meet him.
Yes.
I know how crazy schedule as we speak right now is in Melbourne, Australia right now. So he runs a very difficult schedule, and it's not available for most everybody at the same time. But I have access, and that gift of access is precious, and it's not something I'm prepared to.
I also have access, so don't make me feel jealous. I have access too. But it's been a mind-blowing session. I'll tell you. With him, I think he's a very humbling person. You never
Absolutely.
know him until you get close to him.
Yes,
Sincerely.
very
He's
true.
so humane. He's real. He's human.
Yeah, the interesting thing about Dr. Olumide, we can spend this entire podcast, just talking about him, is the fact that I came to that conclusion that great men are really known by the way they treat supposedly small people, right? So that's, for me, is one great thing. Humility and the depth and simplicity with which he communicates to you. Oh my goodness. It simplifies
Awesome.
very complex subjects in a way that even a third grader, will be able to assimilate and
would
use.
understand it.
Yes. So it's a phenomenal man. I can say that anytime.
Thank you so much. And if you're on this show today, you're probably wondering who is this young pastor or doctor that Oladipupo is talking about. He'll be having an event in Maryland. You don't want to miss out on him. You don't want to miss out. You don't want to miss out. It's August 2nd and August 3rd. You might want to look out for flyers and postings I'm going to be posting. It's an event you want to be. You don't want to miss out. He has a free session and he has a paid version. August 2nd is the free version. We're looking forward to having at least 500 or more people in the room. We have a bigger room this time around. And on August 3rd, being a Saturday, there's going to be a long session. It's from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And beyond that, he's going to have a 90 days mentorship with anyone who comes for the event, the paid version. So you probably want to look out for such, and you want such a person to mentor you. I'm sure if we keep talking about him, we'll probably hear, And destiny, divinely, they met.
Yeah.
And I tell people that there are no chances with God and there are no mistakes with God. It was your time for God to blow you up. It was the time for God to restore and to settle you. That was why you came into that church. And you find that that's something of great words. The devil, or you will just feel reluctantly to go. And when you go reluctantly, you find that that's the doing of your life, as in the turnaround, the point where God just turns situations around. And that's why I tell people, I said, do not take events for granted. Events are places you go, you meet with people, you network with people. You never know who God will bring you, across, and you never know who and how the relationship will be in 5-10 years time. Who knew that going to that service would turn your life around? Or he'll be your mentor today. Or he'll be, it's awesome meeting you, sir. And that's a great story. Learning how God took you from nothing to something, and that's a very great one, sir. I really do appreciate you for being so vulnerable, for being so open, telling us that the color of poverty. I actually wanted to ask you, what color, how does it look? You've already, you met your, I don't have a way to ask you because you already answered it. Don't ask me what color it looks like. Thank you so much, sir. I really do appreciate you. And if you're stumbling across our video today, please, if this has been a blessing to you, please kindly share with your loved ones. Even not the people that know your loved ones. You want to be a person of impact. You want to be a difference maker. God has called us, each and every one of us, to stand out, to be a blessing, to be an ambassador. So you don't want to have that information and you're holding it to yourself. He said, those who give out tend towards abundance, and those who hoard beyond that is beyond necessary tend towards poverty. And you don't want to know the color of poverty. So please, let's disseminate information. It is said that a leader is one who knows it, shares it with others. So let's go out there to be a difference maker. Let's share this video. Let's be a blessing to everyone in our world. Thank you so much, sir. I really do appreciate your time in making our time to being with us on this session. Thank you,
ma'am. Yes.
Are you thinking of how to publish your book on Amazon or how to get your published book to become an Amazon bestseller book? Dip Insight Books is the perfect in-between solution in transforming your ideas into a book. We can help you with all the complicated parts of publishing, such as process TO transformation. What we do: full manuscript evaluation, receive quality assurance edit, full copy edit and final proofread to remove spelling and grammar mistakes, oversee your cover design, create your interior layout, publish and distribute your book, lock down your marketing strategy. Ghostwriting, where there is no manuscript. Our goal is to help you publish your book promptly. Contact us today at 404-740-9091. Email us at info@dipinsightworld.com. To start the submission process, check us out at www.books.dipinsightworld.com and submit your details. You can visit our Facebook page at Dip Insight World.
If you've made it this far into this video, thank you for watching. And don't forget to subscribe so you can support your girl. Thank you.